Hello everybody, welcome to today's installment of Mr. Tate's Rules for Integers with Tater Academy. Alright, let's go ahead and get started here. So, rules for integers. We know that integers in general, positive, negative numbers, how to add, subtract, multiply, divide, can be something that catches people up many times when they're doing their math. So this here, we're going to give you 4 rules today, give you some examples for them. If we can memorize these rules, get to know them inside and out, hey, solving these problems won't be so hard. So let's go ahead and get started. So our first rule of integers is, we're going to deal with the first two, is going to be addition and subtraction. So let's look at the first one. If the signs are the same, we're going to keep the sign and add. What does that mean exactly? Well, let's go ahead and explore and see. So here's 5 examples for us, and let's go ahead and see how this works. So the signs are the same, we keep the sign and add. Well, we all know 2 plus 2 is 4. Well, when we break this down, a positive 2 and a positive 2. So we're adding 2 positive numbers. So the sign's the same, they're both positive. So as we look at it, that would be a positive 4 because we have 2 signs that are the same, they're both positive. Well, on my next one, I have a negative 5 and a negative 4. So the signs are the same, they're both negative. So I'm going to put down a negative number. I always want to write down my negative or positive symbol first. Helps me to prevent those mistakes also. So I have a negative 5 and a negative 4. Signs are the same, keep the sign and add, negative 9. My next one, once again, negative 16, negative 25. Those signs are the same, so I'll keep that sign a negative. I'll add those 2 together. We'll get a 41. Well, the next one, the next 2, we have double signs in the middle. And this is really common. You'll see this in some homework assignments, some textbooks, things like that. And we want to get rid of that. We don't want 2 signs back to back, so we always need to rewrite this. And if we look at rules 3 and 4, it can help us because when signs touch, we're actually multiplying those signs together. So you'll learn that more in rules 3 and 4. But just to think of it in general, if I have 2 negatives touching each other for symbols, they're going to become a positive. So this, we'll rewrite this as 5 plus 3. And wow, we have signs that are the same. They're both positive. So we have a positive 8 on that one. On the last one, number 5, we're going to rewrite the signs. We have a positive and a negative. That will make a negative in there. So I'll go ahead and rewrite this to give me a negative 7, negative 4 equals, well, signs are the same, they're both negative. Combine those numbers together and we get a negative 11. All right, let's explore the second rule of integers. So the second rule says if the signs are different, we're going to keep the sign of the larger number and find the difference. Larger number. So this doesn't matter, positive or negative, anything like that. This just look at the number straight up. Basically, we're looking at an absolute value. And whichever number has the higher absolute value, that's the number we're going to use its sign for. So let's take a look at some of it. Let's take a look at some examples. So example number 1, I have a 12 and a negative 5. That means positive 12 and a negative 5. So those signs are different. The bigger number out of 12 and 5 is 12. So I'll go ahead and keep a positive. Difference between 12 and 5 is 7. On number 2, I have a positive 4 and a negative 7. Well, 7 is the bigger number. It is negative, so I'm going to throw down a negative first because I always write down my sign, as I've said before. Difference between 7 and 4 is 3. Okay, number 3 here. I have a negative 8 and a positive 22. Well, we see that 22 is bigger than 8, and it is positive, so I'll put down the positive symbol. And the difference between 22 and 8 is 14. For number 4, I have a negative 21 and a positive 11. Negative 21 is bigger, so we're going to go ahead and go with that negative symbol. Write it down first. Then we find the difference between 21 and 11, which is 10. And on my last one here, we have another spot where we have the double sign, so we need to rewrite. So we have a positive and a negative, so that will turn out to be negative. So let's write this as 3 minus 7. Oh, look at these little things popping up on me. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. Sorry about that. So we have a 3 and a negative 17. And we see the signs are different. We will keep the sign of the larger, which is negative from the 17. And the difference between these two is 14. So we've done the first and second, the addition and subtraction. First one says that the signs are the same, keep the sign and add. And the second says that the signs are different, keep the sign of the larger number and find the difference. Just 2 basic rules for if you're combining numbers, adding and subtracting. Let's go ahead and keep this rolling. Because now we're into the multiplication and division. Well, the first rule of multiplication and division says if the signs are the same, it's positive. Pretty simple. Doesn't matter if it's 2 positives or 2 negatives, it is going to be a positive number. So let's go ahead and get some examples here. Start with ones that we've seen our whole life. 4 times 3, that is a positive 4 and a positive 3. So that means that the signs are the same. They're both positive, so we get a positive 12. On number 2, we have a negative 5 times a negative 8. Signs are the same. This is the one that catches people. They see, hey, negative 5, negative 8. It must be negative. But no, look at the rule. It says if the signs are the same, it is a positive number. So they're both negative, which means the signs are the same. So that is a positive 40. Number 3, we have the double sign problem again. So let's rewrite it. We'll go negative 12 times negative 3. Well, my signs are the same now. I see that, so this will turn out to be positive. And 12 times 3 is 36. So we are good to go. And the last one, number 4, we have negative 36 divided by negative 9. Signs are the same again, so we will end up with a positive number once again, and 36 divided by 9 is 4. So this one dealt with if the signs are the same, it is positive. Well, if we can predict, we probably can guess what the next rule will be. Aha! If the signs are different, it is a negative answer. So if the signs are different, it is negative. Well, here we go. 12 divided by negative 4. I have a positive 12 and a negative 4. Signs are different with a positive and a negative, so we'll have a negative answer. And 12 divided by 4 is 3. The next one, 8 times negative 6. Positive 8, negative 6, they are different. So we'll go ahead and write down the negative number, and 8 times 6 is 48. Number 3, I have a negative 5 and a positive 3. They're being multiplied. So we'll go ahead and keep that negative number, and it's negative 15. And once again, we have a double sign here, so let's take a look at that. Get rid of the double negatives there, make it one positive. So I have a negative 4x plus 5, negative 4x, Negative 4 times 5 equals, well, I have a negative 4 and a positive 5, so it'll say negative, and it's negative 20. So those aren't being x's, those are time symbols. Typically, I'll use a dot. Right now, on my computer, was not able to get the dot symbol up there for multiplication, so I had to use an x. Just so you see, with the negative number 4, I have a negative symbol and a negative symbol. We can think of that just like rule number 3 in the multiplication and division. If the signs are the same, it's a positive answer. Because when two symbols touch like that, they are basically just multiplying with each other. Okay, I have some practice problems now for everyone. Kind of help everybody, but first I'll just review these rules. Let's look at addition and subtraction. Number 1, if the signs are the same, keep the sign and add. Number 2, if the signs are different, keep the sign of the larger number and find the difference. We are subtracting. For multiplication and division, pretty straightforward. If the signs are the same, it's positive. If the signs are different, it's negative. We can go back and review any of those before. I'll give you a handful of problems here you can work on at home. So let's take a look at these. We have 8 problems. You can look through and get the rules. On the next page, you will have the answers. So it'd be a good idea to pause this video right here if you want to practice these problems. Once you're done, you can check the next page for the answers, and then life will be great. You can go ahead and see if you're having problems. You can look back at all the ones before. So thank you for tuning in to Tater Academy. Thank you for watching our videos, and we're hoping to put on many, many more over the next coming months. I'll go ahead and give you these final answers. And goodbye. Thank you very much. Not leaving them up long because I don't want people to see them unless they pause. Thank you. Bye now.